Welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into the segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. Any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. My name is Robert Brown with The Rob Report. Let's get into it. Well, good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your humble host, Bob TV. Robert Bob TV Brown. How are you doing today? Well, today I want to talk about this particular topic of the day. Nina Turner has put in her bid to represent Ohio in the United States Congress. What does this mean for America? Well, I can tell you this. Nina Turner has been, the only problem I got with Nina Turner, to tell you the truth, is her stance concerning reparations. I don't know where she's standing at on that. I gotta let you know that sometimes people can evolve, because I believe in reparations, but I really have the mission or the reason why. And then when I started to get educated about the wealth gap in America and how the only thing that can really, truly close the wealth gap is reparations, then I began to become more aggressive concerning the topic of reparations. Now, Nina Turner has her thought process concerning that. She believes in reparation. She believes in the cash payment, but she wasn't willing to press Bernie Sanders on it. Or she probably didn't feel the need to press him on it now because, how some people are. Well, this is pretty much a lame excuse to not support something because that's that Obamaism. That Obamaism says that, we got to wait till people are ready. So I've met Senator Turner a couple of times, chat with her, especially when she was here in New York a couple of times, in Harlem at the Apollo Theater. And she's a super mom, a mother of a police officer. Her husband is a police officer. She's an educator. She was a strong Bernie Sanders surrogate. Matter of fact, she took the spotlight away from Simone Sanders, and that's why Simone Sanders go bodyguard hard for Joe Biden to only end up being in a lower level position in the communication department with Kamala Harris. So much for tackling somebody for Joe. Nina Turner was the chair and co-chair of our revolution. She pretty much ran Bernie Sanders' organization of electing people to office after Bernie Sanders got rid of his former spokesperson. I forgot his name. Not David Axelrod. That's Obama. But anyway, and at the end, Bernie kind of distanced himself from her, and don't get me wrong, it kind of got to her. Here she is standing up for what's right, standing up for the people who are speaking truth to power, and yet Bernie Sanders still going to distance himself from her statements or her. Yet at the same time, she continued to gravitate toward Bernie, not because of Bernie per se, but because of his policies. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to get a hold of Nina Turner to understand that there's some priorities that must be established. And if you're not on board of that priority, then even we would detach away from. So even though I believe she can be moved, because I was moved to support full-fledged reparations, People tend to don't want to take that risk because they fear that it's going to cause them to lose votes. It is high time for us to stop worrying about that. Okay, my thing is, if you don't get, you're going to lose supportive vote if you don't support it. And Nina Turner, oftentimes she put progressive issues to the front burner, but I believe she need to put black issues to the front burner, and then she can do with progressive issues also. But black issues need to be up front, foremost, and you can't lump it in with progressive issues. Because yes, blacks can benefit from some of the policies of progressivism, but we have our own personal issues outside of progressivism. And Nina Turner has to understand that, and she has to push forward that. And that's why it's good, like people like me who can possibly get in her ear to try to get her to understand that, or people like my man Tim Black. She's been on the Tim Black show, that can really try to really talk to her, because sometimes just labeling and kicking people to the curb. Some people need to be brought in through education and knowledge, and that's how I got more involved with the reparation movement, the Black Agenda movement, and the need to really, really put it in the forefront of all policies, because I began to get a better understanding, especially when I learned about the wealth gap and how through decades of robbing and stealing and destroying, not just us physically, but financially, it put us so far behind that everybody can come into this country and be way ahead of us, and we have no way of catching up unless we do reparations, which includes cash payment, and nothing else can take away from that. Now, Nina Turner will be running for taking Marsha Fudge's seat. Nina Turner files paperwork for Ohio congressional run. This was yesterday's article, 7:17 p.m. Nina Turner, former Ohio state senator who served as the national co-chair for Senator Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign, has filed to run for Congress. Let me tell you something. Nina Turner being in Congress is not a negative thing. It is a positive thing. It's not a negative, it's positive. Having somebody that have no shame oftentimes is good. And you can try to shame her. I can try to shame her, but she's not going to be shamed. It's just some people you can't shame. Donald Trump, the tyrant, crazy nutwing he is, you ain't going to be able to shame that guy. Turner filed paperwork at the Federal Election Commission on Wednesday for a committee titled Nina Turner for U.S. Nina Turner for Us. Nina Turner for Us. Now, that's a great slogan. That's a great title. That's a great campaign bumper sticker. That's a great campaign ad. Why? Because Nina Turner has been advocating for everybody, blacks included. Not enough, not to the measure that we believe she should advocate more for us, but she has been advocating for policies that help all people. Now, you know me. I don't hate all peopleism. I don't. But I think all peopleism need to be put to the side to make sure black people issues get to the forefront, just like any other issues get to the forefront. Gay issues gay issues never fell in that category of all people. Hispanic issues never got into the category of all people. So how come black people issues always get categorized and, well, you need to stop thinking about yourself. We need to do this for all of America, in the words of Barack Obama. We need to build a coalition. There's sometimes you can't build a coalition. There's sometimes you got to put coalition on a back burner and put a focus on a segment of society. Obama did it with the gays. Obama did it with Latinos. Obama did it with white women with the Lilly Ledbetter Act. But can't do that for us. And I want Nina Turner to make sure she put black issues in the forefront, and she still can advocate for working people issues. She still can advocate for all peopleism. But Black issues need to be in the forefront, number one, because she's a fireball. Number two, because she is a black Adolf mother and a husband. A wife. So that title is perfect. And I guarantee you she can win. The outlet reported that Turner is expectedly to formally announce a bid soon for the seat currently held by Representative Marcia Fudge of Ohio. Fudge has reportedly been selected by President-elect Biden to lead the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Now, Marcia Fudge being in urban development is a good thing. Better than that other dude, Ben Carson. Getting Ben Carson out and putting her in is good. Now, how far would Marcia Fudge go in making sure we have a brand new, robust housing program? How far would she go to revitalizing current housing that's in black communities? So you got to know I'm going to be talking about Marcia Fudge a whole lot because she need to be doing exactly that for the housing and urban development, making it easier for black people to obtain real housing, not staying in apartment rent control, but having a house maybe rent control, or maybe helping people own their own houses. But let me get off that. Fudge has reportedly been selected by President Joe Biden. The Hill has reached out to Turner for comments. A person listed as a campaign treasurer on Turner's FEC form did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Now here's the deal. She run. Let me tell you something. A lot of people in Capitol Hill will be afraid of Nina Turner. You think they're afraid of Bernie Sanders? Man, please, man. They afraid of Bernie Sanders. Don't get me wrong. I believe even though I think Bernie Sanders were more of a petting boy of the establishment, I believe that they did fear him getting any kind of power other than the power that he got right now. Now, I believe he was used to sheepdog people into the Democratic Party, but if Bernie Sanders was a real freaking revolutionary that he was willing to lay down his line, go all out, die on the sword for a real revolution, that would have scared the crap out of Wall Street and a whole bunch of other people. It would have. That's why Barack Obama and everybody else had to do whatever they can to stop, and he welcomed it, and then went to support his good friend and fellow bigot, Joe Biden. Nina Turner, on the other hand, now she's free to run for finally a Senate seat. See, you got to understand, she tried to run for U.S. Senate. They would not let her run for U.S. Senate. Number one, because Marcia Fudge was in that seat. They would not let her run for the House of Representatives because the DCCC does not like to support minority candidates, and the DCCC definitely don't like to support black candidates. You see where I went with that? Because I don't consider black minorities. They don't support black candidates unless they are the only one that can run against that person. They normally look for somebody, they normally pick and choose and finance them. And if they can't find somebody and the only thing they have is a black person, then they'll support them. That's how they did with Senator Bob Graham against Andrew Gillum. That's how they did it with what's her name, and Ayanna Pressley when he was going against the Kennedy. They always do that. They did it with Jamal Bowen with Ellen Ingalls. They did it with AOC with what's his name, Crowley. White people challenged by non-white people. So Nina Turner will pretty much get the seat, and 9 times out of 10 she'll do official bid. Because she's just replacing Marcia Fudge, so she'll get that seat as a replacement. Then she'll run again and win, because she's very popular in the progressive movement, and she's a black woman, and I expect black women to support black women. I expect black women to really, really support a black woman that's from the United States, born and bred, grandparents lead to. No, I'm just saying they use so much identity politics that if you go against Kamala Harris, you're sexist and blah, 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 blah. Well, you're going to do that with this person, I guess. But the bottom line, the Democratic Party do not like her. They don't. See, I was at the Democratic Convention in 2016. They refused to let her speak on stage after they found out that WikiLeaks came out with the rigging and stuff like that, and trying to put their finger on the scale in the election for Hillary Clinton. She was hot. And she was poised to be a speaker on behalf of Bernie Sanders, but she was so freaking hot that they took her off. And that's why you saw people out there with tape in the mouth, because she was going to speak on behalf of Bernie Sanders surrogates and delegates and what happened, and they need to shut her up. She won't play ball with them. This is one thing I can say. She's not an easy ball player. She's a tennis person. She's a single sports person. She's not pretty much a team player. I mean, she goes by her own band. She can be on a team Democrat, but she ain't going to be doing, unlike Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is an independent. He caucus with the Democrats, but he's an independent. Nina Turner takes over Marcia Fudge's seat. She will actually be a Democrat, but a maverick, a renegade. She don't take no stuff off nobody. Even we can't. I mean, I'm a foundational black. I'm an ADOS, and I believe in reparation, and I could put the pressure on her, but she ain't gonna sit there and take that pressure. I mean, the way she said, "Vote me in, don't vote me in." I have nothing to lose. But that don't mean I'm not going to try. That's not don't mean I'm not going to hit her inbox. That don't mean I'm not going to email. That doesn't mean I'm going to continue to send her information, let her know how important closing the wealth gap is, and it's important for her to push this, or she won't get my vote. And then if we can get a lot of people to say the same thing. Now, I don't live in Ohio. I can't vote for her, but clearly she's a favorite to run against Kamala Harris in 2024. Clearly, she will eat Harris alive. So the thing is, the Democratic Party don't like her. The Democratic Party actually loathe her. The media loathe her. The surrogates of these corporate Democrats loathe her. Even Republicans don't even want, they scared of her. What do you mean, Rob? Well, let me just show you. Let me just give you a sample of the type of person that you're going to have in Congress.
Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about. He said it is the point that the white moderate wants things to be comfortable, and instead of focusing in on that, the bigger threat is not necessarily the white KKK member, but more the white moderate that is more comfortable with keeping things the same or pretending like there is no tension.
Don't use Martin Luther King against Joe Biden. You don't have that. You don't have that standing.
First of all,
I'm sorry, you don't.
Don't tell me what kind of standing I have as a black woman in America. How dare you?
You have a lot of standing as a black woman in America. You don't have the standing to attack Joe Biden using Martin Luther King's words.
I didn't attack anybody. You're taking it that way. Listen, don't dip into what I have to say about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. How dare you, as a white woman, sit up here and try to tell me,
that is not what I said.
To tell me
don't you do that.
What I'm supposed to feel and what I'm doing right now.
I'm out of time on this.
That's something wrong. Chris, I didn't jump in on her, Nina, though. And then she wants to jump in on me.
Obviously, Hillary Clinton supporters will say that she was on the front line of health care as a first lady. She was the person who got wounded before Barack Obama was wounded in that battle and ultimately was victorious, that she paved the way on health care alone.
Well, all good Democrats should be fighting for universal health care. It is unfortunate that the Secretary has a different vision in 2016 than she had then when she was fighting for universal health care. And as you may remember, she chastised then Senator Barack Obama for coming against her in 2008, saying that Democrats should not fight each other over this fundamental value that we have.
Let's talk about the fact you just saw Cornel West, your support. You had also early on rapper, activist, Killer Mike, and a number of other people who've come out from the African American African-American community, not a monolithic community. I have to remind people of that.
Yes, thank you.
Come out and support Bernie Sanders. But you and I know that at the black church, at the beauty salon, the barbershop, all these stereotypical places that people think we hang out, that there is a conversation that there's a belief that blacks should fall in line behind the Clintons or fall in line as voters of the Democratic Party. I saw you already ready to respond to that.
Tamara, I'm having a moment here. Nobody owns the black vote. The black vote should be earned. And it is curious to me that our folks are the only voting bloc where people assume which direction we are going to go in. My message to the black community this morning and to all communities is that no one should allow themselves to be taken for granted. And unfortunately, lots of times the Democratic Party itself as a whole has taken the African American community for granted. So nobody owns our vote. They have to earn our vote. And we don't owe anything to elected officials. It is the other way around. But let me just say this to you. I was at Netroots Nation, and at least Senator Bernie Sanders and Governor O'Malley had the heart to come to Netroots Nation. I saw the mamas take over the room. And so it is a learned experience, but they were absolutely in the fight. Senator Sanders understands that he has to earn the African American vote, and that is exactly what he's doing. And his positioning on reparations is not that much different from President Obama. So to lay reparations at his feet is unfair. We should be asking every candidate how they feel about reparations. We cannot go from yes we can to no we can't.
Now, look here. I don't agree with everything Nina Turner says. She's being labeled the black female Bernie Sanders now. So my target is her. My target is to push her to push reparation. What is your personal stance, Nina Turner? How do you feel? Are you for cash payments for reparations? Okay? I mean, you've done all the things you need to do concerning Bernie Sanders. Now, that's done. You're running from office. You're the de facto leader now of the progressive movement, but you're not the de facto leader of black people or the black empowerment movement. There's a code that is the de facto leader, and the code is reparations, closing the wealth gap. That's the top code. And if you're not going to support that top code, then it's going to be a problem. I like you. I like your stance. I like your unapologetic ways. I like how you go up against the establishment. I like how you go up against the media. I like how you go up against politicians. I like how you, when you tell the truth, speak truth to the power. But when it comes down to some specific needs from black people, the number one real need for the black community, especially the black community that have been here since chattel slavery, we need you to step up to the ball and knock it out the park.
I mean, this country specializes in vilifying black and brown folks. Let's just be clear. The president picked that narrative about gang activity deliberately, because he's picking that narrative to explain, our Hispanic, mainly Hispanic on the southern border, sisters and brothers. He doesn't use that same narrative with other immigrants in this country. Even when he made the shithole country comment, he was talking about countries and nations of color. So let's not delude ourselves. This is a deliberate narrative that the president has used. It is a deliberate policy that his administration has put in place to dehumanize black and brown people in this country, and it plays to a certain segment of this country.
Listen, I think this is the same president you're talking about that has wanted to have a pathway for citizenship for 2 million illegals that President Obama didn't offer.
I mean, you know what? That's all well and good.
Look, so how is that a racist policy?
What is he doing?
How's that a racist policy?
What is he doing right now?
He offered. The Democrats rejected that out of hand.
Forget the Democrats. The Republicans are in control, David.
I'm saying he put forth a credible proposal.
We didn't do it with the Republicans.
Also, he put forth a credible proposal.
I do look forward to the midterm pitch that the United States of America specializes in vilifying black and brown people. I do not think that will work for Democrats.
They do.
Take it to the polls. Take it to the voters and enjoy.
No, we will take it to the polls, but the history of this country, too. How many examples would you like me to give you about how this country specializes in that?
This is not a great. This is not a great
next year,
pitch.
16, 19.
I'm so sick and tired of people talking about slogans and pitch to run for office. Now, look, the Democrats did win the House back in 2016. Democrats lost seats in the House in 2020, but they gained seats in the Senate in 2020 to the possibility that there may be a tie in the Senate, where Kamala Harris get to cast a final vote whenever there's some legislation being passed in the Senate because she is considered Madam President of the Senate once she hit office. But let me let Nina keep going.
Next year, 1919, it'll be 400 years since the first Africans were brought to this continent as slaves. So it's not a pitch, it's a reality in this country. And the fact that you're taking such a cavalier attitude about the suffering of black and brown people in this country is appalling.
No, it's not.
It's absolutely appalling.
No,
Are you trying to say that this country does not specialize in racism and bigotry?
I am saying that racism exists. I am saying
exists.
that the United States of America
but you have the luxury. You have the luxury to be cavalier about it. But people, my folks, don't have the luxury of being cavalier about it.
Listen, I think the fact
your
that
point.
No, you don't understand my point because you never lived a day in my shoes or the shoes of my ancestors. This is not a political pitch. This is reality.
Mary Catherine, finish your point, and then Joe.
What I'm being cavalier about is something I think we all agree about, which is that the United States of America is the freest country on the face of the earth and gives the most
all kinds
opportunity.
Of oppression.
I know that, but gives the most opportunity possible to brand us as
you're
only
talking
the
about
other
this through a political lens. I'm talking about this through a life lens.
The saddest thing is that we have a president who plays on this division instead of trying to bring people together.
Oh, Joe, it's like gambling in Casablanca? Really? This president? Hasn't happened everywhere before?
That's
nowhere before?
Let's just say this one's unconventional.
Joe, you specialize in this stuff, buddy. You run races.
That's whataboutism, man. You're right there with the whataboutism.
You did it. Joe, that's what you do for a living.
This is really messed up.
You spin for a living, bud.
This is really messed up. This is not a spin. People's lives are on the line. Kids have been separated from their parents. This is not spin.
The president doesn't drive this division at all. Never.
This is not spin.
No, Joe, I'm not. Listen, but for you to say, I'm shocked that the president is doing this. You do it for a career.
He's doing it for a career too.
Explain what you mean when you say Joe.
Well, Joe's a political consultant. Joe runs races. Joe runs races. You've never run a negative ad against somebody? How about you just talked about the Doug Jones race? What happened there? Did you run any negative ads?
Of course.
Tons, right? So how is that?
So what does that have to do with the president of the United States, who is the president of the United States, not a political consultant, deciding to divide the American people along deep-seated divisions that need to be healed and brought together?
So I agree. So the politics of race is terrible on both sides, right? I think it's
terrible.
I think it's horrible. I think it's horrible. Listen, for Republicans to do it,
or Democrats. I'm not saying that Republicans have a monopoly on racism and bigotry. What I'm saying is that we have become numb to some of the very real challenges in this country that are being exacerbated by this president. But he didn't invent racism and discrimination. I'll be the first one to say that. But to have people who are not black and brown to be cavalier around this panel, I am highly offended. I am just highly offended by this.
All I'm asking is that we don't make it only that. The United States of America is not only that, but that is part of it. That was all I was saying.
Was this country, did this country enslave Africans? Did this country take away the land of the Native Americans? Did this country have Jim Crow and black codes? That's not in my imagination.
No, it's not.
And still, there are articles that are being written right now that still says that it'll take about 228 years for the average African American to catch up with the wealth of the average white person in this country. And we all have to care about it. So it is race and...
Now, this is the video that I will always put in the face of Nina Turner and tell her, this is what you need to be pushing. This is supposed to be one of the main focus point of your campaign. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your campaign and tell you it's the only thing that you need to be talking about. Because you can't run and win on just one subject alone. You can't win as a one subject candidate. But you got to make it the top subject. If you want to make sure that you can garner black people on your side and have overwhelming support, this is essential. Now, I know my natives that are black people that are not from this country, that are immigrants. Look, you got your own story with your country. Our story. This is our story with our country. We ask that you join and move out the way. But this is something Nina needs to continue to push. She just admitted that she knows this to the T, and she knows it's a problem, and she knows it needs to be fixed, and she knows we behind, and to go and run for office and not pitch or not run on the fact that it's time to catch up. This lady's a bad lady. She's bad. I mean, when I mean bad, I mean she don't take no joke. She good at what she do. I'm not going to take that away from her. Nina Turner is a fireball, firehouse, unapologetically bold black woman. And ain't nobody going to be able to shame her. She'll be ashamed of you, but you're not going to shame her. But I'm telling her, since I can't shame her, This is what you need to do. I understand you got a heart so big enough to do great things for this country. But at this time, you need to show your heart big enough to do great things for your people. Because the way you're speaking up here will make our people proud if actions behind what you say is right there accommodating it.
And it is class.
But to say that the country
was founded on racism and bigotry, David, and it does.
Say that America specializes.
Black men are being shot. Oh my Lord!
We shouldn't say it specializes. I don't think
it specializes in it.
Strong feelings.
I'm passionate about producing.
That was powerful. That is Nina Turner going after a panel with Jake Tapper, going against Trump apologists, going against Biden apologists, and let them know, look, y'all too cavalier with this stuff. It's still happening today. And black people trying to play catch up. All right, Nina, you need to lead us in the catch up then. Everybody talking about we need a leader to lead a movement. She could do it. But she will be more, would she be willing to sacrifice votes?
That's something else that gets to me when people say, oh, you happen to be black. Oh, no, I don't happen to be black. This was by design. God intended this to happen. It's on purpose. I am black. Well, what comes with that is also the double standard that we have in this country. And even some so-called liberal whites, you don't have to be somebody that's wearing the white sheet over your blue suit or having tiki torches as you're marching down the street. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. warned us about white liberals, and so did Minister Malcolm X. And they both concluded that sometimes those are the worst because you never know where they're coming from. What we need in this country is more allies, and black women need to be accepted for what we bring to the table. Everybody does not present the same way, but for me, I present in all of my glory. I think early on in my career and my matriculation, I did kind of hold back a little bit, but as I said, now I'm a grown ass all the way
and
black woman.
They don't want to talk
and
about
so I embrace what the gift that God has given me, that my blackness and the way that
when you are poor, you don't want to hear an elected official talk about incremental. You want to hear an elected official stand up and say that poor people and middle class people in this country have every right to live a good life, and as the next president of the United States of America, that you're going to do everything that it takes to make sure that they can have that good life. But let me tell you this, we are an aspirational nation, and there is no way that we're going to go from yes we can to no we can't, and that really is what the Clinton campaign is promoting. And Chuck, we would not be the United States of America that we are today if people wanted to go incrementally. My people wouldn't be free today if folks wanted to go incrementally based on the status quo. Women would not have the right to vote today if we wanted to be incremental. I would not be on your program today. I would probably be somewhere cooking somewhere as a domestic if people wanted to go incrementally. So I think what it is in the heart and soul of Americans is the whole notion that we aspire for greater things, that it is not a radical idea to want people to have universal health care or for folks to have their college education paid for in this country so that they can live out their greatest greatness.
An MSNBC political analyst. It's good to always have you with us, Nina. Good to see you again. I want to talk to you about the WikiLeaks and in particular about Bernie Sanders' angle just for a quick moment, because I know that you were a big Bernie Sanders supporter, but you heard President Obama there. Is Hillary Clinton representing someone who will fight more for the working class than Donald Trump?
Well, that remains to be seen, especially when you can compare what happened in the primary. Senator Sanders was clearly that candidate. And what I mean by that remains to be seen in terms of what will happen the day after the election is the most important thing. If the secretary is successful, we know that the Democrats, we have the most progressive platform that the Democratic Party has ever had. And it will be vitally important to hold the secretary and every elected Democrat accountable to that platform. But as you can see in the polling in Ohio, which it is tightening up, that there are many blue-collar workers in the state of Ohio who don't necessarily feel that way.
And so what you're saying is that you're still seeing that among those Ohio voters where it's like a 1% statistical tie between Clinton and Trump, there are some who still think Trump will be a better working class candidate than Hillary Clinton?
They do. I've talked to people, and the blue-collar worker in particular, again, we have to make sure that we're speaking to the hearts and the minds of the voters, and people are feeling lots of anxiety. I mean, there was an article in Vox that talked about the anxiety, not just among boomers and millennials, but lots of voters in 2016. I keep waiting for Rod Sterling of the Twilight Zone to come out and tell us that we are in the Twilight Zone. I mean, the stress that people are feeling right now in this election cycle, because we went from an election in 2008 that was about hope and change to the absolute gutter right now. And many people don't feel like their issues being spoken to.
So I know that some of the WikiLeaks has made reference to Bernie Sanders in particular, to a potential list of strategies to go after Senator Bernie Sanders. NBC News has not authenticated those WikiLeaks emails. We do know that John Podesta has confirmed that he was hacked, but he's not even confirming them. I'm curious to get your thoughts in terms of Bernie Sanders' response about these revelations, saying, quote, "The job of the progressive movement now is to look forward, not backwards." Are his supporters going to follow his lead and vote for Hillary Clinton on Election Day? I get the sense sometimes that his voters are more upset about what happened to him than he is.
Yeah, they are. You hit the nail on the head. And Senator Sanders is such a man of his word, and he's doing everything that he said that he would. But some will, and I was just in New York. I got a chance to talk to a college student in New York, and he said, look, he was a burner, but he is going to vote for the secretary. But then he started telling the story about his brother. He said his brother doesn't want to vote at all. So it just depends on how people are feeling about this, and it's about integrity. And I think that is the part that is really rubbing not only burners. Lots of Democrats do have concerns about the leaks. And although, this government is going to deal with Russia or whoever else was involved in it from that perspective, I believe that the Democratic Party, when all of this is said and done, will have to deal in a very deep way with the healing process, because the fact of the matter is that the hackers didn't write the emails. We're dealing with people who talked about needy Latinos. We're dealing with people who said things about African Americans and others. Heck, I'm even in those emails as well. And I can tell you from reading the ones that I've seen so far with my name in them, the Russians didn't write those emails. They were written by the people within the Clinton camp.
So how significantly have your views changed on the Clinton campaign since you were mentioned in those emails? I take it you're taking it a little bit personal. And how have your opinions changed about the Democratic National Committee going forward?
I mean, we have lots of work to do. I mean, as you know, this stuff was exposed the first day of our convention, which was not good. A lot of the things that Senator Sanders and his supporters believed was happening was actually true, even though those folks tried to make it seem like Senator Sanders supporters were exaggerating or out of their minds. They're not. And so globally, for me, this is about the Democratic Party itself and what we do to repair, restore, and to heal. And part of that healing process has to be an admission that some people said some things and did some things that were wrong, and an acknowledgement of the pain that the burners in this country are feeling. If the Democratic Party is willing to have a reconciliation, if you will, I think we can get back.
Okay.
All right. So that was her talking about the campaign and the WikiLeaks, and so not for nothing. Again, Nina Turner. She even went on TV talking about voting for Joe Biden is like eating a bowl of SHIT.
Final rung here, and we can see the tension in this country, unlike any I've seen in my lifetime in a presidential election.
Meanwhile, the top staffer that Clinton referred to while speaking to folks in Ohio is Huma Abedin, and the fact that this has to do with the investigation into her husband, so unrelated case by the FBI that found these emails. I know that you were a super Bernie Sanders supporter, and in light of this and the fact that you did get on board and back Hillary Clinton, does any of this make you regret that decision?
I'm not backing anybody in this general election. Let me clear that up right away. I am backing the American people. That's who I'm backing, and unfortunately the American people are taking a back seat in this general election. We don't talk about the defeat of the TPP. We're not talking about income and wealth inequality, rebuilding our infrastructure, really dealing with the needs of the American people. Because it has been drama, 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 and more drama on top of that drama all through this general election.
But I've had you on the show earlier, and you talk about wanting Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. So how do you say that you're not a Hillary Clinton supporter?
You had me on the show earlier? You need to go back and roll the tape, Thomas. Not me. Maybe it was somebody else.
So who do you want
We've never had that conversation. What I want to see in this election cycle, which we have 8 days left, is more conversation about what these two candidates want to do for the American people and less about all of this drama. This campaign cycle, this general election campaign cycle, has been solely focused on those two personalities and not a lot of conversation about what is in the best interest of the American people and how do we move this nation forward from here. And 8 days from now, it's really not going to be over, because we are so polarized in this country that whoever becomes the next president of the United States of America is really going to take all of us to try to bring people back together.
So who's it going to be in the White House that does that for you, Nina?
Well, the people are going to decide, Thomas. I'm only one. I only got one vote. Other folks have to vote, and the person that wins, whether it's the secretary or Mr. Trump, they're going to have to work very hard to bring this country back together. I will say that the Democratic platform, by far, is the most progressive platform. Democrats have the stronger ideas if we're willing and we have courage enough to implement those ideas and really follow that platform.
All right, so this is just Monday. This is not a Freaky Friday. So I'm just going to have to leave it there with you, Nina.
Thomas.
Yeah,
we'll come back.
I'm just going to leave it there.
Revisit this.
We got nothing. Okay. We got nothing but time on our side. MSNBC political analyst.
Now, my question is, whatever happened to Tom? I know we know he is flamboyant as they can be, but here he is trying to just lie on this lady and trying to make it seem like she was supporting Hillary Clinton. She probably did. Who knows what she did in the voting booth, or if she voted at all. That's her personal business. I know I ain't supporting no Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, and I ain't supporting no Joe Biden nor Donald Trump, because I don't support bigots and racists. Low key, high key, middle key, top key. I don't support them. This guy's something else.
Does Senator Sanders need to do more to speak out against some of his supporters who other people have said are crossing lines in that regard?
You know, every campaign has people that go too far, and the senator is exactly right. I mean, for me, the types of attacks, I couldn't even say the types of things that people have put out on social media because it would be so vulgar and inappropriate for daytime TV. Senator Sanders is standing up for the people on his campaign who are attacked. Bree Joy, for example, is National Press Secretary, attacked viciously all the time. Dr. Jane Sanders, his wife, attacked viciously all the time. People have a one-sided notion about this. They only talk about the supporters of Senator Sanders, or maybe the supporters. Anybody can be anybody on social media. The senator has said until he's blue in the face that he does not accept vicious attacks from people. But other folks don't talk about how other people come at people like me in this campaign in some of the most sexist, racist ways ever imaginable, and it is totally unacceptable.
May have heard Bernie surrogate Nina Turner call Mayor Bloomberg an oligarch, to which our own Jason Johnson took exception. State Senator Turner from Ohio.
Now understand this. Bloomberg is an oligarch. He's a wealthy billionaire that uses his money to try to buy up everything, to try to shape and buy and mold things with his money. That's what oligarchs do. And here you are, we got this black man trying to defend the white man. See, I get on Nina Turner for that. Nina Turner trying to defend Bernie Sanders when he's clearly wrong. Anybody who's trying to defend somebody when they're clearly wrong, especially a black person trying to defend a white man when they're clearly wrong. I would get on a white man who's trying to defend a black man when he's clearly wrong. It doesn't matter to me, but for him, you know, this is so freaking Stephen from Django Unchained-ish that it made me sick.
Is still listening in Des Moines because she wanted a moment to respond. Nina?
Senator. Thank you so very much. You know, it's just ironic to me that somebody would defend the wealthiest people in this country over the working people of this country. We need real campaign finance reform to the extent that a Mayor Bloomberg can totally finance his campaign. He doesn't have to go out to the people. He doesn't have to build a movement. He doesn't have to talk to people. He can buy his way. It is the same attitude that the elites, maybe Jason likes.
Now, before I go any further, understand this. I'm in New York. Mayor Bloomberg was literally paying people $20 to $25 an hour to try to get him on the campaign in New York. I had people coming to me, don't even like Bloomberg, don't even see him, don't support him, but just for that $25 an hour, they went to work for him with a clipboard in the subway trying to get people to sign their name on the clipboard to get him to be on the ballot in New York. I was going off on these people. I was basically, you support Bloomberg? Oh, nah, man, I'm just trying to get this $25. Bruh, this is what Nina Turner is talking about. Can buy your way in the campaign. Here's Jason Johnson. I wonder how much money you're trying to get, Professor Johnson, from Mayor Bloomberg. How much?
the word elite over oligarch, but it's the same attitude that the elites had in 1930 against FDR. All of them lined up against him, and he said, I welcome your hatred, because he was standing up for the people. And that is the same message that Senator Bernie Sanders has to the everyday people of this nation, that I welcome the hatred of the elites because I am standing up for you. So cry me a river for the wealthy people in this country.
Nina, you work for a candidate who's part of the 1%. I have no problem with criticizing the system. The system that allows Mike Bloomberg to make all the money that he makes, the system that allows...
By the way, got to be truthful. Bernie Sanders write a book, and he become part of the 1%. There's a difference between a millionaire and a billionaire. This is some kiss butt stuff right here, man. There's a difference between a millionaire and billionaire. Now look, I see more her defending the stance of a billionaire pushing back on the stance of a billionaire buying up the election versus trying to protect Bernie Sanders in this. But he wants to make this about your candidate, and she's trying to make it about Bloomberg and the people buying up elections, being an oligarch, using his money to mold and shape things into his image. That is the definition of an oligarch. The nerves of him. Nobody cares about what Bernie Sanders have. He got a couple of houses, and he goes on book. He don't have nowhere near much money as Nancy Pelosi. Nowhere near much money as John Kerry, who married up, or John McCain when he was alive and he married up. Nowhere near the money of President Obama and Michelle. Now they got those two books, and and they're going out here doing all these speeches.
Allows him to buy what he wants to buy. The system allows him to buy himself into the administration, and buy himself into the debates is a problem. But to call him an oligarch, I think, is a misnomer in this environment. And again, you're working for somebody who's part of the 1%. Do you call him an oligarch? No, you don't. You say he's a rich guy. Because just because somebody has a tremendous amount of money doesn't mean that they're not necessarily representing the people. And if you want to use the term elite, you can use whatever kind of term that you want to use. But at the end of the day, the enemy of this country, the enemy of the poor, is not just everybody who happens to be rich. It is a capitalistic system that abuses people. And if you want to speak about that, that's fine. But if you want to name call people, that's not going to help Bernie if he becomes a nominee, and he's going to need Mike Bloomberg's money. I'm not name calling anywhere. If he's going to need Mike Bloomberg's money down the road.
It's ironic that you're defending somebody that is buying his way.
Bernie Sanders never needed billionaire money. You need billionaire money. I mean, I got to tell the truth. Bernie Sanders was getting his money from the grassroots, from people, man. I mean, his campaign was literally being funded by the people. I'm not going to sit there and lie and say it wasn't. But for him, it's as if he wanted some of Bloomberg's money. You can campaign without getting billionaire money. The reason Stacey Abrams was successful at getting people back on the voting rolls is because she took that money from Bloomberg. Now, she shouldn't have to take any money from Bloomberg. Why? Because the DNC should have been the ones out there putting their money out there to get people back on the voting rolls. But they were too lazy to do it. So in order to mold and shape the elections in Georgia for the Democratic Party, Bloomberg came in with her. That's what oligarchs do, Jason Johnson. They have enough money to mold and shape it. I doubt if Bernie Sanders' 1% money is enough to mold and shape elections all across. Bernie Sanders could have had Bernie Sanders' money that he made from his books and the assets that he got would never finance an organization to go out there and get people back on the voting rolls. But he got Our Revolution. Our Revolution is funded by the Bernie Sanders supporters, not Bernie Sanders.
Through the democracy, yes, you are.
I know this works on Twitter because that's how you guys operate. But when it comes to actual campaign politics, it makes sense to actually describe people for the positions that they have.
Is this about a word? Is this about a word, Jason? Is this about a word?
No, it's not just about a word. It's about the implications of it, and it's about criticizing the system versus criticizing individuals. Like I said, I wouldn't call Bernie Sanders an oligarch, and he happens to be part of the 1%. I would say he's somebody who's wealthy, but who's dedicated himself to trying to uplift people who are poor.
He just got there
at the age of 78 years old.
Okay, let me end this. I just want to bring, because I do like this debate, because it's a debate, and I like debates. Number two, do you want to change your word from oligarch?
No, I'm not changing. He doesn't tell me what to say and how to change my words. My words stand.
Well, Brian, it's back to you. I think that's the decisive conclusion of this back and forth. Your thoughts?
Can I say something about Jason Johnson? Jason Johnson, a frequent guest on my show. I think this is a really important debate, and I'm really glad you didn't let it get boiled down to the use of a word. It is not about a word. Here's the other enemy, and I understand different views about the system. The enemy is the guy in the Oval Office who thinks there were good people on both sides of Charlottesville. Yes. The enemy is a guy in the Oval Office who just got a permission slip to cheat.
Who happens to be so-called rich. Who happens to run the White House like it was his business. You know, come on, people, man. I mean, these people, look, an oligarch is an oligarch. A wealthy person who has enough money to mold and shape things into his image is an oligarch. To barely claim a person who barely wrote 2 books and hit the bestseller list and probably worth about $2-3 million is not considered an oligarch. Oh, boy, I tell you. Let me go to this last one and we're done.
Democrats who helped flip the House in 2018 were moderates. James Carville made the argument over the weekend that Senator Sanders isn't a Democrat, he's an ideologue, and we've got to get practical. If he is the candidate, he is not going to be able to help win over the Senate. And unless you have the Senate, if you've just got the White House, you ain't going to get nothing done.
Does practical mean that the 89 or so million people who are uninsured or underinsured in this country continue to suffer? Does being practical mean that we don't take steps in this country to deal with climate chaos and bring world leaders to bear? Does being practical mean that we continue to prop up a legal system that is unjust in every stretch of the imagination, that bears its weight down on black men and black women, and then by extension, if you are Hispanic or indigenous or poor? Does being practical mean that we don't say to the American people that you deserve better than what you are getting? That's not the kind of practicality we want. Does practical mean that you hold fundraisers and wine caves with Swarovski crystals with billionaires who want to control this system? Does practical mean we continue to go with the status quo while 500,000 people sleep on the streets at night? That's not practicality. So with all due respect to Mr. Carville, what the American people in this country need, they need somebody that is unabashed and that has the courage and the conviction to stand up for them and to call out the rigging of this system. And that candidate is Senator Bernie Sanders.
But steps and a revolution are two different things. In order to get to a revolution, you've got to take steps. And what James Carville is saying is you've got to get to a practical place to make those changes.
Stephanie, the elites in 1930 said the same thing about FDR. And he said, I welcome your hatred. These are the same people that if the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was still alive, when he stood up before he was gunned down and he said to this country, he said the evils of this country, militarism, materialism, poverty, and racism. Those are those same people. So now if President FDR had listened to those people, or if the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King had listened to those people, we would not progress as a nation. So every generation we got the naysayers, baby. But what the folks of this country need, they need somebody that's going to stand up for them. Senator Sanders is known as the Amendment King. He knows how to get things done. But what people need is to be able to call upon somebody that's not going to capitulate.
Senator Sanders supporters, what is their number one goal? Is it to start this revolution, or is it to defeat Donald Trump? And I ask because there's often a lot of talk around, will those supporters get behind another candidate if it's not Senator Sanders?
Stephanie, why can't we have both? You know, that same argument was made in 2016.
And a lot of those people didn't vote for
However, though, Stephanie, more of Senator Sanders' supporters supported Secretary Hillary Clinton,
which was a mistake.
Her supporters supported then Senator Barack Obama. So let's set the record straight. People do want to defeat President Donald Trump, but they also want to know that they're going to have a fighter in the White House that's going to take it all the way, that's going to go ham on this system that has oppressed them. And so I reject, and so do the American people, the whole notion that you cannot say to a system that it must change and also push a dream and a vision that is bigger than what we have right now. Who wants somebody that's saying to the workaday people of this nation, I'm going to run for office, but you only going to get more of the same? That doesn't work. We're going to win this stuff.
All right. Well, you're certainly in it to win it. Great to see you.
You too, Steph.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC.
Why did I think it was so important for me to show you Nina Turner? Because one thing is Nina Turner is a Democrat. She's not an independent. She will be in the Congress. She will be hated by congressional members, including Democrats and Republicans. The Democratic Party going to try to cater to her just so she don't be a poison to them. And honestly speaking, I want to see more people that are poison to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. I don't care about how they run and what umbrella they run under. I just want them to, I really want to see more people in office that's going to stand for truth. More people in office that's really going to fight for the American people. I really want to see people that's going to go even overboard fighting for black people. I have no problem with people who are fighting for equality for all people. I have no problem with them. My problem is if you're black and you put that fight before the fight that your people need first, I got an issue with you. But I'm not gonna front. I am kind of excited about Nina Turner running for that Senate seat of Marcia Fudge. I am excited because I like people who like to start stuff. I like people who are not gonna toe party line. I like people who are gonna push back. I like people who are gonna get in your face. And Nina Turner is that type of person. You're not gonna shame her. You're not gonna shun her. She'll shame and shun you first. You ain't gonna say what you want to say to her. She's gonna clap right back at you. And it don't matter who you are. You can be Joe Biden or Joe Blow. She ain't gonna let you just run over. And if you do wrong, she's gonna call you out. And if you do right, she's gonna call you out. I want to see more people like that. People, oh, hey, we're going to get that with AOC. Man, when she get in that Congress, she going to make AOC an aftermath. She will no longer be the most popular. Don't get me wrong. AOC is cool with, younger crowd and things like that. But the movement for working people and the movement for progressives is going to go behind Nina Turner. My problem is, Nina Turner, that ain't enough for you. Because most of the Democrats ain't gonna support you. They don't like you because you're too divisive. You, according to them, you're too toxic, according to them. So they're not gonna embrace you 100%. They'll embrace you to keep you from stinging them, but they're not gonna embrace you 100%. So you're only gonna get half of those. You might get some progressives outside the party. But if you really, really want to solidify a base that will carry you not only in Congress, but in 2024, you have to embrace ADOS. You have to embrace the foundational blacks. You have to embrace those who are born here from chattel slavery, who's looking for that wealth gap to close. And you have to embrace the only thing that will close the wealth gap. You have to embrace that in your policies. And then you have to embrace the phases that we will do it in, from chattel slavery all the way to Jim Crow, to even now police brutality and everything. Now, honestly speaking, she would deal with that situation. Her husband is a cop. Her son is a cop. But yet she fears every day that her husband may get shot, maybe by another cop or maybe by a crook or some, criminal. And likewise with her son. So Nina Turner running for office in taking over Marcia Fudge's seat. Nina Turner becoming Senator Turner from the state of Ohio in Congress is not going to be nice for Republicans and not going to be nice for Democrats. Oh boy, I can hear Nero Tanda and all them now. I can hear them now. And then the fact that she's going to probably pull Obama in 2024, they're going to hate her even more because the nerve of you to go against Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris will even fear her. Because Kamala Harris have to be the one, she's Madam President of the Senate. I can't wait to see Nina Turner go toe-to-toe with Kamala Harris, let alone other Republicans. Now, am I a fanboy of Nina Turner? I'm not a fanboy of anybody, but I've seen how she operates when it comes to the people in the media, when it comes to politicians, and I like that. And I want to see her do that more. The fact that she was Bernie Sanders' surrogate, No more. That's done, dead in the water. She'll never be a Bernie Sanders surrogate again. Number one, because Bernie Sanders ain't running again. And number two, she's eyeing the White House herself. She's eyeing taking over this movement. And I have no problem with her taking over any movement as long as she put her people first in the movement as a priority when it comes to getting things done with this movement. Nina Turner run for 2020 for the Ohio U.S. congressional seat.